Vata is one of the three doshas. And the doshas are this concept out of Ayurveda made up of the elements that help us understand ourselves. So on my website, shivanigupta.com, you can go and take my free dosha quiz. And when you take it, you will learn if you are predominantly Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. And having that self-awareness of your body constitution itself is very supportive in helping you mitigate stress in your life. Why? Because sometimes we are a Vata person and instead of doing the tools that balance and stabilize Vata, we're doing the opposite. So we're constantly creating more imbalance in our lives.
Good morning and welcome to the Fusionary Health podcast. I'm Dr. Shivani Gupta, and this is the podcast dedicating to recalibrating your health every day. My goal is to help you wake up each day energized by addressing root causes and giving you new approaches to preventive health. The more we know about integrative health, the more empowered we are in building the vibrant health we want.
Hello and welcome to the Fusionary Health podcast. It is me, Dr. Shivani Gupta. I am your host, and today I'm going to be doing a solo episode for all of you. I actually just returned from India from a 2-week trip, and it was so beautiful to return to India and feel like I kind of went home. Like India really feels like home to me now in a way that it has never felt in the past. Like I've gone so many times, but this time I didn't want to leave. And so much of it was because for the first time, I felt like I had like the resilience with my health, with my body. I had the tools so that I adapted to India really quickly. And then I'm back and I had no jet lag. Like I immediately got over it. So I think part of my struggle with India in the past was always the resilience I did not have. And so to have finally built that resilience has been the biggest gift, because now I can go anywhere. I can travel the world. I can travel for work. And it's just not nearly as tough as it was. I don't fall sick easily. I have this gut health that's resilient and strong. It doesn't stress me out as much to travel as it used to, because I know that I'm going to be okay. I know that I'm going to maintain my vibrant health, and I'm going to be able to get right back on the horse when I get back. And so for today's episode, I thought we would cover the topic of 5 ways to reduce stress, reduce anxiety, and to build stress resilience for yourself. Now, this topic is pretty near and dear to my heart because as a health practitioner, as an Ayurvedic practitioner, as someone who's here to create tools and mindsets and classes and courses and shifts in our health, I'm always seeking all the different ways we need to support ourselves, whether it's building a new toolkit, building a new habit, a new ritual. What are those tools that we need to maintain vibrant health? And growing up, I grew up in a family of diabetics. So I saw a lot of health trauma, health struggles, health tragedies happen in my family, especially every time I went to India. Maybe that's also part of the good thing is everyone's well for now over in India. But growing up, I'd see that stress, obesity, and sugar and a poor diet and these kinds of things all led to diabetes in my family. And I always thought, okay, well, I'm going to exercise. I'm going to really focus on exercise. I'm going to learn to love exercise. It's going to be part of my life no matter what. Then I thought diet. Okay, I'm gonna eat so healthy and so clean. I'm never gonna eat junk or bad things, which I'm pretty moderate about it. I wouldn't say that actually. I'm pretty extreme about it, but I try to be somewhat moderate about it. But I watch my diet and what I eat really closely as well, because to me, disease prevention is key. And then that third piece, stress management, has always been an interesting one because I am what you'd call an overachiever. I'm super ambitious. I have really big dreams, really big goals, and I am built to achieve them. I'm not built to sit back, relax, have a Mai Tai on the beach lounger and crave like relaxation 24/7. I was built and forged from a family of successful entrepreneurs who have always created good things, always supported their team, always had a great impact in the community. And that matters to me. I plan to shift and change the world in this lifetime. And that's no small feat. But I don't want to do so at the expense of stress impacting my health and stress taking a toll. And what I've learned kind of recently, now that I'm moving it through my 40s, is I think we have better stress resilience when we're younger. And as we age, as our bodies age, there's this loss of resilience that happens. And we have to fight harder to maintain it and keep it than ever before. We have to fight harder to build vibrant health. And it's interesting, recently I was doing a talk on longevity at this amazing conference called A4M in Vegas. And when I was pulling through the science to build my presentation, everything in the science said, we will age and everything will slow down. And I remember as I was reading through the science and the curcumin science and everything, I got so frustrated. I was like, I don't accept that. I don't want to accept this at all, that we are going to age. Our cells will slow down. They will stop killing off the zombie cells. Everything will just accumulate. We're going to rust. We're going to have oxidation. Every process is going to slow down and the metabolism is going to slow down. And for women, our hormones are going to go south. And gosh, like this sucks. Like, I don't like this. And anytime something like that hits me, I'm always like, well, all right, I don't accept that. So what would I like to do instead? I'd like to defy it. Okay, how would I like to defy it? I'm going to build a toolkit for that. And so I usually build my own plans out for myself, for my health, that allow me to completely bypass whatever I don't want to believe in or I don't want to have happen to me. And so when it comes to stress, in the last few years, as I have been growing my dream company, I have seen stress take its toll on my body. And I had to really look at my system around my life and readdress things. So I'm going to share with you the 5 ways that I use to reduce stress and that Ayurveda would recommend for any of us to reduce stress in the body. In case you don't know me, let me introduce myself properly. I'm Dr. Shivani Gupta. I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner. I'm also the founder of Fusionary Formulas, an incredible line of Ayurvedic supplements and nutraceuticals that I built about 8 years ago. And it's my dream business. It's my dream company. But no matter what you're doing, whether it's your dream or you're just at your regular job, we can all have stress in our lives. And it's so important to learn how to mitigate that stress, how to manage that stress, how to build stress resilience into ourselves, but also how to build a rhythm that allows us to do our dream while also not taking such a negative toll on the body. At least that's something that I think about a lot. And so from an Ayurvedic perspective, anxiety in the body, when we're feeling a lot of stress and anxiety, is what we call an imbalance or derangement of the Vata Dosha. And so Vata, or people here pronounce it Vata, the Vata Dosha is really one of our 3 doshas. And so if you have not heard me explain this before, you can definitely look me up on Instagram at Dr.Shivani Gupta. You can look me up on YouTube. I have videos on this on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is probably called Dr. Shivani Gupta. But Vata is one of the 3 doshas. And the doshas are this concept out of Ayurveda made up of the elements that help us understand ourselves. So on my website, shivanigupta.com, you can go and take my free dosha quiz. And when you take it, you will learn if you are predominantly Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. And having that self-awareness of your body constitution itself is very supportive in helping you mitigate stress in your life. Why? Because sometimes we are a Vata person and instead of doing the tools that balance and stabilize Vata, we're doing the opposite. So we're constantly creating more imbalance in our lives. Let me define the 3 doshas since I'm in it already with you. The Vata dosha is a wind energy. Vata means wind and ether. And so with Vata, you have this movement going on. It's cold, dry. The properties are cold, dry, movement, A Vata person will tend to be thin-boned, thin and wiry, long face, longer features. This person will have a busybody type personality. They're always going to be on the move, like never able to slow down, never able to stop their busybody nature. They're going to have a tendency towards poor disrupted sleep, poor disrupted gut health, irregular bowel movements. This is somebody who tends to eat like a bird all day long and never sit down for a stabilizing meal. And so if that kind of sounds like you, then the balance to anything in Ayurveda is to do the opposite. And so to balance Vata, the job is, the homework or the prescription is, sit down and eat 3 square meals a day, build a very strict schedule for yourself and be consistent with it. So a Vata person should wake up and sleep at the same time every day. They should eat 3 square meals. They should eat more healthy fats. They should do a couple of things like that really help them kind of stabilize and get grounded and stay more balanced and healthy, really more balanced and supported. And then the Pitta dosha, the one in the middle, is fire with some water. And so fire, that Pitta person tends to be a fiery personality, entrepreneurial, ambitious. They tend to be medium bodied, tend to have reddish hair, reddish skin, early graying. A Pitta person tends to have this powerful appetite. Like they get hangry really easily. They have great sleep, great digestion, but their negative trait is they tend to explode, like tend to burn out. So imagine every word related to a volcano. Someone who overburns, overdoes it, explodes, melts down, all those kinds of words apply to a Pitta person, which means they are very rough on the people around them if they're not self-managed, and they tend to overheat. So a Pitta person's best way to balance themselves is stay hydrated, stay cool, avoid spicy foods, eat regularly so you aren't hangry, get your sleep so you're not cranky. Like a lot of self-management is involved with a Pitta, and I'm a Pitta, so I self-manage pretty darn closely, or else it's not a good situation. And then the third dosha is Kapha. So a Kapha person is very much earth energy with water. And so the traits that predominantly define a Kapha person is of the earth, loyal, big boned. This is someone who's got curly hair, rounder features. They're bigger boned. They're stronger. This is someone whose digestion's a little slower, metabolism's a little slower. They get really sound sleep. And a Kapha person has their own health struggles and issues, mainly related to metabolism and things like that, and momentum. And so we can support them by giving them a more Vata lifestyle. But I digress. I'm not here to give you a dosha class. I'm here to explain the 5 ways to reduce stress. So the first way is understand your dosha and balance for your dosha. Because if you live according to your dosha, according to your individual mind-body constitution, then you're already supporting yourself to have your body at more ease, to have your mental health at more ease, to have your emotional health at more ease, because you're meeting the needs of the body. Then you'll be meeting your needs emotionally, then physically or mentally, and thus spiritually more aligned. Because the whole goal of Ayurveda is to bring body, mind, and spirit into alignment. Now, related to the doshas, balancing Vata specifically will also always help if you are anxious and highly stressed. So let's say, for example, I just returned from India a day ago, and I got to get back into work. I've got to find my list of things to do. And every time I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's 100 things to do here. That's kind of stress causing. That can cause anxiety. So what did I do before I left? I blocked this whole week on my calendar as do not book me. You may not book me for a podcast. You may not book me for anything. I knew I would need a week to recenter and reground from such a huge trip that I just took. I also know that fixing everything according to my dosha is my best bet to stay more balanced and calm. And anytime I feel like I have a Vata imbalance going on, like a Vata derangement, I will immediately move in nature to ground myself. I will go breathe in nature. I'll go put myself in the grass. Grounding the Vata energy, that movement energy, is your best bet to getting out of the anxious and stressed mode. Tip number two, circadian rhythm. So Ayurveda came up with the concept of the Ayurveda clock or the circadian clock. So many people are talking about circadian rhythm. Please, everybody, give credit to Ayurveda. Ayurveda came up with it. So the circadian clock just teaches us that our cells are all running on nature's clock. And no matter what we do, sorry for the beep, guys, no matter what we do, it's so important. You do not disturb. Perfect. It's so important that we live according to the rhythm of nature as opposed to trying to defy it. So many of us say, oh, I'm a night owl. Oh, it's just this season where I have to work late. I'm going to just miss out on sleep. It's no big deal. Or, you know what? I didn't have time to eat. I'm going to eat late today. Circadian rhythm teaches us that waking up with the sun, going to sleep with the sun, is a powerful way to live in rhythm with nature. Circadian rhythm teaches us how to build a circadian rhythm for ourselves throughout our day. And so no matter where I am in the world, I maintain my circadian rhythm. I do that by having certain teas and certain supplements at certain times. I eat and have my snack times at the same time, no matter where in the world I am, whatever time zone. I make sure that the rhythm I have set for myself is one that exists 365 days a year. I don't defy this beautiful rhythm I created, and thus my body is under less stress because it knows what to expect. It knows it can trust me to feed it and hydrate it and give it the right tools and herbs and spices and supports that it needs. And so part of why we're so stressed and we're so anxious as a society is we're not even taking care of the base needs of our body. A lot of times we're running on empty, running on fumes. We are consuming too much of what's happening in the world instead of giving our body the space it needs to just be and be healthy. And so circadian rhythm also involves like building in breaks, building in time to rest and recover, and not just be on the go all the time. And I think part of the problem nowadays is we have this crazy hustle culture that's like, go, 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 do. But we're human beings. We're meant to be. We're not meant to do all the time. We're not human doings. We're human beings. And I think we should also acknowledge that the women and male hormone systems are completely different. There's so much science coming out that's saying that we're not even meant to intermittent fast the same way. Like men can do it differently. Women have cycles and we need to do it differently. And so acknowledging what your rhythm is on a weekly, monthly, seasonal basis is one of the most powerful ways you can support your health and reduce that overall baseline stress and anxiety that's taking a toll. And we know stress causes disease. We know stress causes inflammation. I teach that mental inflammation causes physical inflammation. We know our mental health impacts our gut health. We also know our gut health impacts our mental health. So my point number 3 is focus on gut health. Ayurveda taught us over 5,000 years ago that gut health is all health. It's everything. You want a great, healthy life? Improve your gut health. And I can tell you, I am a testament for this. Growing up, I would go to India and I would just die every time. I just recently saw my family and they were like, oh my gosh, you were so sick as a kid. You were always puking. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys remember that? They were like, yes, the whole time you were here, you were sick. And I thought, yeah, that's true. That's probably why I hated India as a kid. I would get disastrously sick. I warned my children, do not get Montezuma's revenge called Delhi belly or whatever people call it. Don't get it. And now I have a lot of rules around when I travel to India so I don't get sick. So the last few trips I have not. But also on this trip, there were many different points that happened that could have made me sick personally. And I have to say, pat on the back for building amazing gut health that prevented me from getting sick. Like people got colds, people had horrible cold, stuffy nose viruses with fevers going on. People got GI upset. At one point I did eat chaat, which if you are Indian, you know how good chaat is, but it's like the Indian street foods. And I felt a little discomfort in my belly. And I was like, oh God, please don't let this be the meal that takes me down. And it didn't. I was consistently taking my supplements, my adaptogenic herbs, my turmeric, my everything. And I was managing my gut with love and I came out fine. And so our investment in our gut health is our personal investment in our mood, in our resilience in our everything. We know that gut health impacts anxiety and depression. We know that it impacts mental health. But how often are we consistently investing in the improvement of our gut health? Every single time we get super stressed, we are damaging our gut lining. And not to mention processed foods, seed oils. There's like a million things we eat and do that damage the gut, alcohol, all those things. Then, in addition to that, there's things like toxins, molds, different intruders that come in and cause damage as well. So, really, the gut is this ecosystem, and our job is to love on it. Our job is not to ignore it and just hope that it's the greatest trash compactor on earth and it's going to deal with everything we throw at it until the end of time. And so managing our own gut health is key. I know that I was diagnosed with leaky gut, and it really finally explained all the issues I had throughout my childhood. And so to lovingly heal my leaky gut has left me in this new position of I have a fantastic immune system. I have fantastic stress resilience. I have the ability to tolerate a lot. But at the same time, life is unpredictable, and we have to have the wherewithal to not go down when life brings us different traumas and troubles. I had something happen in my life last August, and it was so traumatic. My hair started falling out. My nails started all breaking. Like I have certain signs my body will give me when all my nails break at the same time. I love getting my nails done and having them pretty, but when they all break, that's my sign. Like, whoa, you've hit maximum stress levels. Or I'll get an eye tick. I don't know if some of you guys get an eye tick. I'll get an eye tick when everyone's stressing me out. And I'm like, all right, time to make a change. I'm about to go over my edge, and this is not going to work well for everybody. And so really understanding that for yourself and listening to your body when it's telling you, hey, this is max capacity. We're at our max. That's the key. And when that happens, can you quickly backtrack and say, okay, what am I going to do to support myself here and now? What are my immune protocols I'm going to put in place? What are my gut healing protocols I'm going to put in place? How am I going to honor my circadian rhythm quickly again so I can keep everything on track? How can I balance the Vata energy in my life right now and get real grounded and really centered? So kind of going through your mental checklist of what's available to you in your toolkit is your most powerful way to support your gut health, your stress resilience, and your vibrant health overall, according to Ayurveda. And then I have tip number 4 here, self-care. Self-care is my favorite topic. I don't teach self-care all the time because I also love teaching inflammation. I love teaching about sleep, circadian rhythm, gut health. There's so many topics I love. But self-care, I can honestly tell you, is the one that's gotten me through everything, through having young kids, through building my company, through COVID. COVID almost killed my company. So like through all the different issues that have come through life, self-care is that toolkit that I reach for the most to save myself. I can honestly tell you, self-care is like my ultimate treasure chest to hold my life together and hold me together through all the things that happen and that through all the roles that I have. So many of us are juggling a lot, whether it's being a spouse, being a parent, being an entrepreneur, being a sibling, being a daughter or son. There's so many roles, but if we can consistently practice self-care and bring ourselves back to that peaceful space, to me, I call it filling your own cup. I call it collecting peace. But if I don't do that, I just do not have the energy to share that I want to share. And for me, I constantly fill my cup. And that's how I have this energy center and this ability to give and give and give, is because I have filled my cup consistently. And so what kind of rituals can you build for yourself into your daily life that truly support you? Like, we are all individual. We're all bio-individual. We all have a different combination of our doshas. We all have a different predisposition. We all have a different genetic makeup, a different family history. But I do think that the Ayurvedic self-care rituals are so beneficial to us because they support our lymphatic health. They support our lymphatic system overall. They support gut health. They support our metabolism, our brain health, our mental health at all levels. I think the Ayurvedic self-care rituals are so powerful. And so I have a couple of them I'll share with you right now, just because we're here in the podcast. One is using a copper tongue scraper. If you've heard me on anyone else's podcast, I do talk about that a lot because Ayurveda taught us that scraping the tongue every day, gently, 7 to 14 times, is a way to clear the toxins out of the body. And remember, point number 3, gut health, I mentioned mold and toxins. So the toxic accumulation and toxic burden in the body is called ama. So if you imagine this like toxic residue that's like all inside your body in all the different areas, it's creating a burden, like a weight that's slowing everything down. And your poor body is trying to work efficiently. So by scraping the tongue every single day, 7 to 14 times, what we're accomplishing is we're removing that residue from the body. We're gently massaging all the organs of the body. So just like in reflexology, all of our organs are reflected on the bottom of the feet. According to Ayurveda, all the organs of the body are reflected on the tongue. And so by using that tongue scraper, you're going to gently massage the organs and gently help them clear this ama or toxin accumulation that tends to happen over time. You're also going to be clearing your taste buds. And by clearing the taste buds, you're allowing the body to have a better ability to taste your food and enjoy it and thus be satiated. So there's a lot of benefits to using the tongue scraper. It also ignites the digestive fire first thing in the morning. And so that's one of my favorite self-care rituals of all the self-care rituals. Another great one when we're talking about stress and anxiety is tea time is me time. I created tea time is me time because I personally needed an anchor point throughout my day when I would tune into my own circadian rhythm. Because for me, I love what I do and I can just jump in and then forget about everything. Like I'll forget to eat, I'll forget to drink and all those things. But I needed to build anchor points that kind of held me accountable to checking in with myself. And so I have tea every single day at 7 a.m., 10 a.m., right after lunch. 3:30 is my high tea. I get home and I have an afternoon evening tea and then I have a bedtime tea. I love tea. I think tea is the best thing ever. Tea keeps me happy. It keeps me hydrated. It keeps me feeling warm and comforted. But tea is also this anchor point in my day that I use to check in. So every time I pause for tea, I check in and ask myself questions like, are you feeling okay? How are you doing? Have you scheduled your day so you actually get to have food and pauses and breaks? Have you scheduled your week in a way that you're going to survive it? What do you need to do or handle so you're less stressed out? And so I start to ask my own intuition questions, and I have trained my intuition to answer me. And my intuition comes up with some pretty powerful answers. A lot of times it remembers completely random, obscure things that I have forgotten about. That's super helpful. So that's always great. But also a lot of times I'll think to myself like, hey, you need to leave 30 minutes early so you get dinner before you go to that event. Or, hey, you need to, and my body will tell me, hey, take your turmeric. Hey, do this. And so I really love that I've built that habit and I really encourage you to. If you are a coffee addict, I completely understand. Coffee is great. I just never loved the taste of it. Then do that with your coffee and check in with yourself a few times a day, but cut off that caffeine by about 3 because you don't want to ruin your sleep. I'm pretty obsessed with sleep. And I'll mention now, sleep and sleeping well clears inflammation, clears the lymphatic system, which thus helps the body deal with stress and anxiety better. But self-care is such a powerful way to build anchor points into our lives. And I don't know if you know this, but I created a line of teas a couple of years ago. I was sharing with my very good friend, Maria, who is now my business partner. She's such a rock star. I was sharing with her, I was like, I know I built Fusionary and I love it. And I love being the turmeric girl. And I love saving the world with turmeric and putting it into every doctor's office. Like, this is so what I was meant to do. But one day I also want to own a tea company. And she was like, okay. She's like, it sounds off, but okay. She's like, whatever you want to build, you should build. And I was like, yeah, one day I hope I can. And I can proudly say I officially own a supplement and tea company because within Fusionary, we now have 4 functional teas. What does functional mean? It means I put as much Ayurvedic herbs in there as I could. I went to the hilt and then I covered them with enough florals that you would not say that it tasted bad. They taste good, but I wanted to create teas that create a change. Like I don't want to create tea for the sake of tea because it tastes good. When you drink green tea, you're getting tremendous benefits. When you drink matcha, you're getting tremendous benefits. And the Ayurvedic herbs that exist are powerful in supplement form. When we give them in supplement form, we're giving them at an exact dosage, at an exact potency to create a pretty close to exact result that we're seeking. And so I do look at supplements differently. But when it comes to teas, I had this theory of what if I gave whole herb in full whole form at this delicious combination that could create a shift? Like, could we do it? Sometimes I have theories and I have to test them out to understand if they're true. And so deep sleep tea was that. It's like ashwagandha, brahmi, osmanthus flower, cardamom, which Ayurveda loves for sleep, all put together. And then so many florals on top because the taste had to be fixed because you can't drive that much result without covering the taste in a tea. Anyway, we don't need to get so technical. I also made a tea called menopause support tea because everyone with menopause was really saying, guys, I need help. And so the adaptogens from Ayurveda, speaking of point number 5, my point number 5 today is herbs from Ayurveda that are adaptogenic that help with stress and anxiety. So let me just go there first and then explain the teas. In Ayurveda, we have a class of herbs called adaptogens. And adaptogens means those herbs that help the body adapt to the stresses of life. So an adaptogen like ashwagandha, if you're stressed and anxious, it's going to calm you down a couple of notches. If you're having the blues and feeling low, it'll lift you up. It's like a thermostat. These are plants that are so intelligent that when they get in the body, they figure out what's wrong and then they handle what needs to be handled, which talk about plant magic intelligence in the world. It's just incredible. So turmeric, in a sense, is adaptogenic because it's going to go in there. And from what I've seen with turmeric is where the problem is, it's going to get in there and handle the big stuff first. Once it's got the big stuff handled, like chronic joint pain and all those things, then it goes after the smaller issues. Like people have told me their gingivitis is healed from it and different things like that. So the adaptogen class, I'm sure you've heard of some of them, like ashwagandha, brahmi, rhodiola, schisandra. There's one I'm thinking of, bacopa. So good. All of these are amazing. Tulsi. So I played with these for the last couple years because I wanted to see, can I create the impact we want in a supplement in a tea form? And so menopause support tea is that. It's 3 types of tulsi. It has shatavari, which is the queen of adaptogenic herbs for reproductive organs for men and women. And so I have some men who drink that tea. I had called it hormone rebalance tea initially, but then I was like, let me get specific with who it's for. So menopause support tea is designed to help women with hot flashes and night sweats. It's designed to help cool down the system. And that's what we're seeing is people are raving that they're seeing such tremendous benefits from it. Then there's deep sleep tea. Deep sleep tea is meant to help you relax mind, relax body to encourage a better night's sleep. So instead of just taking your regular chamomile from the grocery store, I wanted to see, can I create this truly elevated tea that creates a powerful shift in the body using delicious, decadent, adaptogenic herbs from Ayurveda in this delicious form that also trains the body to understand that this is my nightly ritual. This is my gift to myself. This is my sleep hygiene. This is my sleep ritual, indicating to mind and body that we are entering bedtime. And then recently, I just created a new tea called Unwind Tea. And I created that because if I wake up in the morning, when I wake up in the morning, I am hitting the ground running. It's like, okay, kids have to get up. We have to get to school. I have to get to the gym. Then I have to get to work. Boom. The whole day is going to go at full throttle. Like I'm going to get in 5th gear and go. For that, I drink caffeinated teas throughout my day. I start with my green jasmine tea in the morning. It's menopause support tea, but it's so good and delicious. It's a jasmine tea. So it's just so yummy. Then I have my 2nd cup. Then I have my 3rd cup. My final cup is high tea. After my 3:30 tea, I cannot have any more caffeine. It will affect my sleep. And so my next self-care ritual is an afternoon tea. So for a long time, I was having peppermint tea, or like a berry detox tea, different teas. But what I was craving was something that would help me take my life from fifth into fourth, almost towards third. Because to switch from work mode into like kids activities, like, can I be chill and kind and go at their pace? I needed something to support me to get there. And even later than that evening, like post 6, post 7 p.m., when I don't want to work anymore and I want to settle down and chill, I don't want to go to sleep yet, but I want to unwind. And I don't want to unwind with alcohol or wine. That's where I had this craving for something that was just relaxing, something that was soothing. So that's what I made unwind tea for. Adaptogens like ashwagandha, they're going to help slow things down, calm down the nervous system. So we feel more settled as we're entering our evening phase with our families or with whoever we're with at home. And so that's why I made that tea. And I love it. Like, to me, I now have my morning tea. If I want like a metabolism booster pre-workout, I'll have my detox tea. I have my green jasmine tea throughout the day. I have this unwind tea to calm down into the evening and not crave like chocolate, not crave a glass of wine or any of those things that would help calm me down, or carbs even. Sometimes we're using carbs and sugar to calm down and feel comforted, like that comfort settled feeling. And then deep sleep tea to have the perfect night's sleep. And so to me, it's just this greatest gift to play in the world of Ayurvedic herbs and adaptogens. I'm constantly sourcing them as potent as I can on the supplement side. And then I'm playing with the right formulation and combination on the tea side to also drive a functional medicine type result in the body and do it via tea. So those are my top 5 ways to help us reduce stress and anxiety in the body. Number 1, know your dosha and balance your vata energy, because vata is that movement that's creating that anxious feeling. Number 2, circadian rhythm. Know what circadian rhythm is, live by your circadian rhythm, work with an Ayurvedic practitioner to design a custom plan for you, for your schedule, to balance you and your circadian rhythm. Number 3, gut health. Fix your gut, optimize your gut, build resilient, powerful gut health, because gut health is brain health. Gut health is mental health. Gut health is all health. And by reducing the stress in the body and healing our gut, we're also going to reduce stress overall. Number 4, self-care rituals, whether it's the Ayurvedic self-care rituals, whether it's having a powerful morning routine that sets you up for success, or a powerful evening routine. Sometimes my evenings are my best time to do all of the cool meditation, journaling, gratitude journal, all those things. It's better in the evening because I'm a mom who gets out the door too early in the morning. Self-care is so powerful. And my favorite self-care rituals are tongue scraper, oil pulling, abhyang massage, if you haven't heard me teach about that, dry brushing, tea time is me time. I teach collecting peace, which just means walking and moving in nature. To me, I'm actually a better meditator in nature than I am trying to sit still in my meditation corner. Each of us is so different. And so building the self-care ritual and rhythm for yourself can be so powerful, especially when it comes to stress management. When we're doing so much, the what do you call it? Like the opposite, the flip side. I'm thinking of the word dichotomy, but it's not dichotomy. When you're dealing with a life that is so busy and so full and so high impact, then equally important to the impact and work and drive and going at full throttle is the rest stop, is taking that pit stop. You can't drive around the racetrack and win the Indy 500 or any of those big races if you don't stop in the pit stop and reset. And so in the same way, where are you building the breaks into your life? I take high tea at 3:30. That's an important break for me. I literally stop my life. And if I didn't get to take it before I have the kids home, I will tell my kids, you're here and snacking. Mommy's getting in bed with her tea for 30 minutes. And everyone knows, like, give me my introvert time. I need to tune up and tune in to myself to be my best self. So self-care to me is the ultimate key to stress and anxiety management. in this life when we have so much going on and we need to re-regulate our own system, regulate our nervous system, support ourselves. And then finally, herbs from Ayurveda. Ayurveda is this powerhouse system of medicine. It's over 5,000 years old. It's ancient wisdom that works. And modern science is just proving that Ayurveda works. And so much of functional medicine is reaching into the Ayurveda toolkit and teaching it to us. Because if we don't build a preventive lifestyle for ourselves, we're not going to get to keep any health result that we build via functional medicine, allopathic medicine, really any of the medical systems that exist, including Ayurveda. You still have to do the work and live the lifestyle, the diet, the gut health, living according to your circadian clock, and all those different elements that I spoke about today. So I hope this episode was helpful to you today. I know I just threw a lot at you, but these are some of my favorite topics to cover. So to learn more, you can visit my YouTube channel. Just search Dr. Shivani Gupta on YouTube. My website is shivanigupta.com. I have a ton of websites and a ton of content and videos and posts there. The other best way to follow me is on Instagram at dr.shivanigupta. I encourage you to take my dosha quiz on my website. It's a great way to learn about yourself and your dosha. I also have an amazing 7-day inflammation detox on there, my inflammation guide, my sleep guide, and so much more. It's all on my website for you and it's all free. And I hope this was helpful today because I really do think that post-pandemic, so many people have been dysregulated. And as we are on this path with the world, with the chaos that exists, with so much heaviness and things like that, the only way to counter it is to invest in our own stress resilience, in our own stress reduction, in our own self-care. And without that, we're going to constantly have compromised immune systems, compromised gut health, compromised mental health, and we're not going to have the world that we want to have. And so it's each of us personally taking the time to invest in our self-care, invest in ourselves, grow ourselves, build up our battery of resilience, and charge up ourselves that we can each be this powerful light in the world and share that light with others. And so thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoy this podcast. I hope you'll listen to all the episodes. I have the most incredible guests on this podcast, people who I agree with, people who I don't agree with. My job is to bring all the perspectives on health and integrative health together so that you can discern what is best for you and what is right for you. And if you'd like to work with me, I do individual Ayurveda consultations. You can book that through my website. I also have an amazing 6-week program that I built that I offer a few times a year where I immerse everyone into this Ayurvedic lifestyle and show you how to live it for yourself. So thank you again for joining me for the podcast. And if you're interested in learning about fusionary formulas, the website is fusionary, FUSIONARY formulas.com. Be well, everybody, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks for joining me for this episode. Check out our sponsor, Fusionary Formulas, the potent turmeric supplement used by doctors around the U.S. for patients with pain and inflammation. www.fusionaryformulas.com. I'm your host, Dr. Shivani Gupta. For more, visit shivanigupta.com. Subscribe to this podcast in Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Click the follow button or subscribe in any of the apps that you use. That's all I've got for you on the Fusionary Health podcast this week. You have the power to transform your health and achieve vibrant health starting today.